Hi everyone, my name is Serena Alexienko and I'm going to be sharing my presentation on Michelle. Let me go ahead and share my screen here so we can see my presentation. Perfect. All right, so again, sharing my presentation specifically on the Instagram strategy for Michelle. Starting with the account, Michelle's presence on Instagram. Here I have included a screenshot of what their Instagram page looks like, as well as pointed out a few things. Now, I do want to mention, since I last shared about the brand, they have lost a following, and I think it's very important for me to focus on these strategies and things that they could market potentially better to not only retrieve those lost followers, but as well as gain quite a few more. Now they are down to 59.2K followers. Now, if this has to do with their change in ownership, I'm not quite sure. I have a feeling that it does because you'll see the statistics along in this slide, and a few things have changed again since I've last reflected on it. So currently they're still at 1 to 3 posts a day. There's a mixed variety here. They still do their traditional quoting as well as reels, posts, stories. Um, I've also shared their link if you're curious about it. I'm more than happy to share it with you as well. And again, just a little bit different in their bio here. Obviously, does no longer has Heather's name. But it does have Miss Jennifer's name, who now has 100% ownership in Michelle. Currently on their page, they have 6,710 posts. Now, this was a little bit more, so I think they did some post cleanup from back in the day, but they keep it pretty low for postings per day as of right now. So I'm hoping to see those rise in the future. Their current content, again, those various forms. I see typically a lot of their stories, and then a few things that I see in their day-to-day postings would have to be, their quotes and hashtags, and just those connection things. So for one of the examples, I can tell when Miss Jennifer is posting. She's the new owner. She was just a partner before, but now she has the company completely. Hers typically will have those hashtags in the next comment under the post, because she is very lengthy in her description. Now, I have seen a little bit more rise in commentary and interaction from followers that they already have, because of this. So I think it's definitely working. And I'm very impressed with Jennifer's tactic there. I just think that people haven't connected with her as much as they did Heather. So it is very different, with, again, their following in those lost follower accounts. I've also included, a picture of their stacking of jewelry and a few pieces that they would advertise together. It was on their page. And then I scrolled down a little bit and found the most recent quote that they had posted. And it's this one attached here. And I thought those spoke very highly of what they typically post in their current content on pages. Now, going to over to their SWOT analysis after seeing, a little bit about what their page looks like if you're not quite familiar with Michelle. A couple of their strengths, I would definitely say their give back and just, how much about people and humanity that they are. Now, I'll be curious to see if this changes again with the new ownership. However, I still see them being very involved with, local charities and things like that and giving back. They still have that section on their website, and then throughout their posts, I still see them mention things like that as well. And I think they're really going with that. So it's a huge strength in their marketing tools. I also think it's great that they've started from the ground up, especially now Jennifer taking over from a partnership. There's definitely a lot that she's going to have to start from the ground up with. I mean, Heather definitely built it from, literally nothing, and it became what it is today. But I think Jennifer's got a pretty similar path, considering that she no longer has Heather in there with her. So with that, there also comes weaknesses, and after our classes discussions and just, previous postings and things like that, I've kind of reevaluated what their weaknesses are. And I would have to say the lack of consistency, especially in their Instagram pages. They have quite a bit of followers for being a small business and a small, community of people. And I think that it could be potentially a heck of a lot more people following them and interacting with them. I think they just need to build up that social media presence. And I would also say there's a lack of showcasing, the behind the scenes, the background work, whether that be how they're making the jewelry or, just showing what that process is that takes that sets them aside from other jewelry businesses. With that, there is a lot of opportunity as well. Their rapidness of growth and the company's pieces being out there, known and loved. There's quite a few celebrities who've actually worn Michelle. One of them being Kourtney Kardashian, Miley Cyrus, Carrie Underwood has also worn a piece from them. It's out there. People love Michelle. They just don't necessarily draw attention to it like they would other name brands. And I think there's a lot of opportunity to showcase in that region. And another thing, the last little part are my SWOT analysis, their threats, because they're that small business, they are that limited stock. So it might be a slower approach to getting things out and they might have to prioritize a little bit better there. But I wouldn't say it's a grave threat, but it's still there. Also with that, it's a huge competition field for jewelry. So, there's so many different companies out there, so many different people. So I think it's really important that they recognize that and they try to use that to their advantage. So a couple of their competitors, they actually follow their competitors. And I would say these two, they both have lower following counts, but they are both very similar, and where certain pieces are handmade and things like that. If we're going over to Malaya Studio, looking at her stuff, some of the gold pieces and chains I would definitely say are very similar to Michelle's. That's why I've also included them. However, they are based in Germany, things like that, but their layout and aesthetic is also similar as well. Now, again, they do have that smaller following. However, their followers versus interaction ratio is a little bit better than Michelle's. But going to follower count, still not quite up to Michelle's follower count, but a big following, I would say at 28K for a smaller business. I definitely think that they are a huge competitor in the fact that, again, aesthetically, they look very similar. But I would say where they have the edge, because they also have, the woman empowerment going on for them, for Erin Bader Jewelry, I would say from them, the kind of thing that sets them apart would be, more boutique style advertising and things like that on their page. But I would still consider these two big competitors for Michelle's. There's definitely a lot that they can learn from them. And then moving on to a piece of content from them, I just wanted to share Malaya Studio, again, showcasing this is how a post would be. They also comment below, so I think that's a trend I'm seeing here. And they're pointing out jewelry and things like that and girl power, very similar to Michelle's. So again, another reason they'd be, competitor for them. Going to Erin Bader Jewelry. Hers, I don't see any hashtags on here. However, the photo style is very, very, very much identical to Michelle's, and the pendant necklaces that she's wearing, stacked like that, definitely Michelle's style. So I just wanted to focus on those, and their likes and comment ratio. So again, interaction is a very similar ratio. It's a lot lower than they would like it to be compared to their follower count. But after seeing their competitors, after going through that SWOT analysis, I want to go ahead and move on to their current and target audiences. So starting with their current, I went over to their tag section. So this is a lot of their followers that interact with them, share, their pieces and things. It consists of a lot of young women, business owners, entrepreneurs, influencers, little fashion icons, wannabe fashion icons, however you'd like to put it. That's a lot of who I'm seeing right now. I'm just going through their followers and things like that. However, I think that their ideal audience should be, yes, you can start at the younger range, but I think it could be 25 to 45. I would be more comfortable saying that. Because sometimes I feel like their pieces are targeted at the older range, but not quite those 50s and 60s. Yeah, I would say probably 45. Um, I would say, their ideal audience needs to be, residing in fashion forward locations. A few that I come up with: Chicago, LA, New York, and Houston. Sorry for my pronunciation right there, loss of words. I would say, these people are going to enjoy unique pieces, but they don't want those obnoxious, bold, bright colored looks. They want something a little more basic and along those lines. Now, I say these people also have an importance of philanthropy and people. So I think that's very important because Nichelle showcases that perfectly. Now, I went ahead and created a persona. This one I named her Natalia. I'm not going to go through and read exactly here, but I did include those. But, just to point out a few different things. I think they're really focusing and driving towards someone who, again, doesn't want those big, bold pieces, but they want unique. And they, worry about finding, something that is affordable but high quality. Nichelle definitely has some more affordable pieces. They do have expensive high retail prices, but nothing so skyrocket that it wouldn't be affordable for their ideal audience. And I think it's just super great to have this image so they know who they're marketing towards and who the goal is for. So getting to those, the goals. I think for them, it'd be increasing, their media presence. 1 to 3 times a day isn't really cutting it for them. It's better than, the first time I kind of saw Nichelle. I've been following them for quite some time now. I would say, doubling those at 4 to 5 times, specifically over the next 6 months to increase engagement, I think by 200%. I think that's an attainable goal for them. I think that's a very smart goal for them. And I also want to go into, using that with those postings, raising awareness about their philanthropic work and what they do for humanity and what they do, especially for women. And I think it's also great to be able to compare those goals with the additional engagement that they get. And I think that's something that's definitely measurable that we can take a look at. And then the end goal of these, would be getting those followers to commit to their purchase. And I would call this the conversion stage. That's their final push that they want for those people to hit that checkout button and order their pieces. So going into the strategies and tactics for achieving those, I would say, focusing on reels that include behind the scenes, making it more personable, again, just posting those more often. But also continuing those traditional postings that people really like, for example, their quotes and lookbooks. I also, think that they need to get more involved with other things just besides them. I think that, they can get involved in conversations that pertain to women injustices and speak out on that. I think it can get a lot more people to really get behind Nichelle and know that they really mean what they're doing. And I would love to see, them talk more about local charities and the donation process and things like that, because it has a lot of potential here as well. But in conclusion, I think Nichelle is undergoing a huge change, in business background, and they have the opportunity to strive for a better approach, and improve where they are now. And I think that they just need that final boost to commit and they could really go far. And I have a lot of hope for them. So I'm really excited to see what happens with Nichelle and the new business owner and everything like that. But I just want to thank you guys so much for watching my presentation. And if you have any questions, please let me know.